Hello everyone, welcome to Red Snapper. My name's MJ. We are continuing to carry the torch for Drewberry with Snap or Pass Ajax. He is a 5/5 ongoing +1 power for each card in play afflicted with negative power. Today we're going to look at the Spotlight week he is in. We're going to be looking at some synergies, some counters, ultimately whether you should buy the card or not, but even if you're not going to, what decks you can maybe try him out in. You wouldn't be able to try them out if you're not getting him, but what decks you might see him in. So let's have a look. First of all, let's look at the Spotlight week that he's in. He's alongside Dark Hawk, a Series 4 card, and Beta Ray Bill, a Series 5 card. So in terms of value, this is sort of middling. We're seeing a lot of these kinds of weeks recently where you get one Series 4 and a couple of Series 5. So it's middling. However, Beta Ray Bill, pretty fun card, pretty cool. Not used in many decks, to be honest. He's in the sort of Asgardians deck, but that's not sort of setting the world alight. So it's mixed, it's middling. Dark Hawk, however, as I'm filming this, Arishem is absolutely huge in the meta. He had something like a 65 or 70% win rate. So absolutely, not win rate, I misspoke, play rate. Everyone's playing Arishem. So the Dark Hawk stonks have gone up dramatically. So this is not a bad week. However, Ajax, we're obviously going to talk about how good Ajax is. He's not looking mind-blowing. So you've got kind of two mid cards in Beta Ray Bill and Ajax, and then a good card in Dark Hawk. So yeah, it's kind of a mixed week. But let's look at the mechanics all to do with Ajax and what is going on with this guy. So he triggers off of afflicted power, so that includes permanent and temporary effects. So a temporary effect could include Man-Thing, a permanent effect could include Hazmat. However, is any negative affliction ever truly permanent with cards like Shadow King and Luke Cage running around? Maybe those are some cards we'll talk about in a minute. I say the word maybe there. Obviously, they definitely are going to be cards that we're talking about. He is an ongoing effect, so its power can change throughout the game. It can go up and down, and also it means that you can copy it with cards like Mystique. And it's a symmetrical effect, so cards like Hazmat, which affect both sides of the board, will synergize well with Ajax. And I keep having to stop myself from saying Ajax because it's spelled the same name as the Dutch football team. Anyway, you may not like soccer/football, so I shouldn't mention it. Pros. He can get very tall, like insanely tall, with a maximum power of 28 if both sides are full and afflicted. Now, I've put this down as a pro. Like, this is not going to happen. You are never going to hit 28 power with Ajax. It would literally require, I don't know, just an absolutely mental scenario where Hazmat has been played and everyone else who isn't Hazmated, including Hazmat, is in something like the negative zone where they've all been afflicted by negative power. Yeah, in that scenario, he can get bloody huge. But there's a really weird wrinkle in regards to Ajax where in order for him to get higher power, other cards, which could include yours, need to be lower. So there's this weird sort of balancing out sort of wrinkle to him. At what point is the benefit of him having higher power, like, is that really that good if you're having to go lower power to get it? Now, obviously, sorry, that sounded really, that sounded so, like, demeaning. Obviously, thicko. No, I didn't mean to say it like that. But, obviously, you can just target your opponent and you can try to afflict your opponent. You don't have to do your side as well. In fact, you're probably better off not doing your side as well. But it is an interesting thing to consider. So what I'm trying to say is this essentially converts wide affliction into tall power. So like you're sucking up all of that negative energy and putting it into one pillar, if you will. One thing that you can do with Ajax is you can play him on turn 5, not having played any kind of negative or affliction style power thus far, which means that you're underneath the Shang-Chi ceiling. And then on the final turn, you hit him with the Mystique and Hazmat. And then he flips. You hopefully haven't got priority, because that would be the whole point of doing this strategy. But he flips, and you tick up all of that power. They get afflicted with loads of power, and your little Ajax and Mystique combo skyrocket. So that is going to be the best synergy and the best strategy to do with this guy. It remains to be seen if that is truly good, though. As for the cons, if you have Typhoid Mary and a full board, Ajax is a 5/15. However, you're losing 10 power across the board, so the benefit might be deceptive. This is something that we basically talked about a minute ago. If you're doing the style of deck with Ajax where you're afflicting your own cards, you're just converting all of that affliction energy from wide into tall. So it's not a strategy that will necessarily work well. So I probably would try and stick to the afflicting your opponent style of deck. It's just that the Typhoid Mary and the Hazmat type stuff can work with Ajax. But the biggest counter with Ajax is he's got so many counters. That is in fact our next slide. Bloody hell, this guy is weak. Bloody hell. Everything gets this guy. So Shadow King is going to... It's not going to take down Ajax, because Ajax is ongoing. But Shadow King is... Shadow King, Christ, is going to be able to reset some of that affliction power that you're trying to inflict upon your opponent. So Shadow King's going to be one to look out for. And the guy costs 2. Yeah? The guy costs 2. Luke Cage, boom. Full blown counter to Ajax right there. And you've just paid 5 energy for a 5 power card. Heck, you might have played the Mystique down as well, and she's just become a 0, son. So yeah, Luke Cage absolutely going to kill you. Okay, so I've just paused the video because I want to add that we don't 100% know that Luke Cage is definitely going to bring this guy's power down. Basically, I've had a few comments recently which have pointed out the interaction between High Evolutionary Abomination and how if your opponent resets their power or they play a Luke Cage, for example, Abomination still keeps his lower cost, and the wording is similar to Ajax, so it might be that Ajax can't actually drop in power. We don't 100% know how it works yet. As at time of recording, I'm recording this and filming it quite far in advance because I'm going to Whitstable very soon for my wife's birthday. So yeah, you don't really need to know that additional information, but that is what I've just said. Obviously, Shang-Chi takes out the guy straight away, and Enchantress. This guy is weak to bloody every tech card in the game, pretty much. However, let's talk about some synergies. It is not all bad news with Ajax. Let's talk about some synergies and some decks. We haven't spoken about Yellow Jacket. Yellow Jacket is a 0 cost card, and on reveal, -1 power from all of your cards at that location. Is it... I've said repeatedly that you probably don't want to do the afflicting your side style of deck, but it is an option, and the fact that you can do this on 0 cost at the end of the game, it might be worth considering. However, some better cards where you want to hit your opponent, maybe cards like Scorpion. Scorpion coming down on turn 2, really, really nice, because you get a nice spread of all of the cards in their hand, and they're going to have to start playing out some of these cards, and it's going to give you that extra 1 power each time. Hazmat, again, we've spoken. I think the main strategy with this is going to be Ajax, Mystique, and Hazmat. Final turn surprise. If you don't do that on the final turn, though, hell, you can do it early, and maybe it fits into some of our other deck styles, like we're going to be looking at a High Evolutionary deck in a minute. Mystique, I've spoken about at length. And then finally here, we have got those High Evolutionary style of cards. Oh my gosh. Yeah, this is fine. Sorry, I just I looked at my High Evolutionary deck and was like, did I put High Evolutionary in it? I did, thankfully. I can keep my Marvel Snap account. Right, Cyclops and Abomination. We'll talk about them in that High Evolutionary deck in a minute. Before we do, let's look at the Self-Sabotage style deck. What on earth are we doing here, guys? Well, we're playing a Patriot style deck, so we've actually got some Patriot cards here as a potential backup and secondary win condition. Or primary win condition, because maybe you just should be playing a Patriot deck, which is better anyway. What's happened to my voice? I sound like Mr. Bean. Actually, no, Mr. Bean is a silent protagonist. Sorry, I've malfunctioned clearly. Anyway, you've got stuff like Squirrel Girl, Mysterio, and feeding into them. Mockingbird works really well with them. We got the Patriot and the Ultron. However, we got some higher power cards because we're expecting that we're actually going to be flooding the board, and so these guys aren't going to be able to ruin your play. Cards like Hydra Bob and Martyr, sort of bad one drops, but they're high power. And so because they get hit with the -1, which we might be playing from Hazmat, that is the key point of this deck. Actually, they're coming down to 1-3 and 1-4 respectively, so we don't mind too much about that negative power that we're getting. And we also don't mind about the negative power that we're getting if we are playing cards like Patriot and Mysterio, because we've got other ways to increase their power. It's coming together. Then we've also got Hulkbuster in here, so Hulkbuster connects onto something. So again, as Hulkbuster, if played out into a empty location, would normally get tagged by the extra afflicted power, you can just bolster one of your pillars, even though the pillars is the next deck we're playing. You can bolster one of your pillars, maybe play him on the Patriot, and gets a little bit higher. Anyway, the whole point of this is you can do the Ajax and Mystique combo towards the end of the game if you don't do the Patriot Ultron stuff. So you can have these two tall towers, two tall locations instead. I don't know, guys. What do you think of it? I'm bloody trying it. I'm bloody trying to find the positives with this card. I'm not sure I'm seeing them. But moving on to our next deck. Pillars of Ajax, similar to kind of the rough idea that we thought about with the self-sabotage deck. This is playing high power cards that are basically higher than you would normally get. We've got the double pair combo of Martyr and Hydra Bob here again. We've got Maximus, so these are all cards that have higher power, but they have a downside. So you're forcing your opponent to draw cards with Maximus. Maybe this isn't a good idea. But then you've also got great cards like Nocturne and Gladiator. We've got Polaris in here. Hopefully we're going to be winning some locations. So we've got Crossbones. We've got Typhoid Mary, who's going to be afflicting everyone. Got no Luke Cage in here. So again, you are kind of looking at the sabotaging yourself style of deck here, which I said I don't recommend anyway. And then you've got Dr. Octopus, so you can pull stuff out. Really cool combination here, by the way, guys, that I don't see people talking about enough. Typhoid Mary into Dr. Octopus. Your Dr. Octopus is 9 power, so cannot be Shang-Chi'd. Yeah, we're thinking here, we're cooking. And then, of course, final turn you do Ajax, or maybe you've played Ajax on turn 5, and it allows you to do the Mystique Hazmat combo again on turn 6. It is interesting. However, let's talk about an actual good deck. High Evolutionary. I actually think if Ajax finds a home anywhere, it'll be here. And even then, I'm not 100% sure. Basically, this is just a classic High Evolutionary Affliction deck. So we've got the cards like Abomination and Scorpion in here. Red Guardian, Cyclops. You want to extend that game with magic. And then Ajax just becomes basically another potential strong card that you can play in the deck alongside your really cheap Abomination, your Hulk, your She-Hulk. Maybe it could work. Maybe there's something there. But guys, let's be honest. I've sort of alluded to it all episode. It's a pass. It's a pass for me. I'm not getting this card. I think this card looks weak AF. To be honest, I hate to say it, I think every card in the game has its spot. And hey, listen, I think the artwork is cool. I think there's like a symbiote artwork version variant. I think that looks sick. And maybe this will be better than we expect. I don't think it's any good though. I don't think it's particularly good anyway. I could see him getting a buff. I could see it. Generally speaking, I don't recommend this card. I don't really recommend this week, to be honest. Unless you've been after that Dark Hole for a while. Maybe there's something there that works. And guys, hey, maybe there's something I'm missing. If you think there is something I'm missing, let me know in the comments below. If you're new, please subscribe. We're trying to hit... Well, as of time of recording, we're trying to hit 1,000 subscribers. I hope by the time this video comes out, I might actually be at 1,000 subscribers. We will see. Egg on my face if that is not the case. But... you eat the eggs, or if you're a vegan, don't eat. What am I talking about? Eggs. I'll do this. End the video. Goodbye. Oh yeah, I've been thinking. Should I get like a catchphrase at the end of the video? Anne Robinson, right, from The Weakest Link, used to say, "You are the weakest link. Goodbye." And I sort of want to say that, but I don't want to like be mean to my audience. So shall I say, like, if you don't subscribe, you are the weakest link. Goodbye. Is that a shit idea? Let me know if that's a shit idea. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time. Cheers.